What kind of a mount are you looking for? A backyard pet your children can grow up with? Or a reliable trail animal to help you enjoy the high country? Do you love a reining spin or the intricate moves of the dressage arena? Do you long to be flying high on a jump course? Or does driving a Surrey with the fringe on top sound like your cup of tea? Whatever kind of equine companion you're looking for, you'll want one that will perform in a safe, obedient manner. The purpose of these programs is to help you understand mules and donkeys and learn how to handle and train them correctly. Now, we know that not everyone watching owns a mule. Some of you own horses. Well, there's something here for you too. You'll notice that these are simple, easy-to-follow lessons. They're designed to teach you a variety of correct training methods for horses as well as for mules and donkeys. The result? Whether his ears are long or short, you'll have a well-mannered, well-trained animal. This program features segments from an award-winning video series created for the equine industry by acclaimed trainer and educator Meredith Hodges. Because of this, you'll hear occasional references to the videos and also to the workbooks and field cards that are included with the video series. The field cards that come with the videos are a great training tool that can be taken right into the arena. We'll be sure to give you information on the complete training series later in the program. Now let's learn a little about Meredith Hodges and why so many people rely on her as their training consultant.
Meredith has for many years gone to experts in every field of endeavor to learn from. And because of this vast knowledge she has in all different aspects of training, I think she's a wonderful teacher. And the fact that she is able to share it with all of us benefits us as well. Meredith is probably the hardest working person in this industry that I know. She has dedicated her time for years and years and years to help people. She's always been willing to help people. And I think that's what you give back when you really believe in something. I've watched through the years Meredith coming full circle within the industry, starting as a student herself, and then going on and being a professional in the show ring and as a judge. And then the last step is helping other people by teaching them.
Mules are wonderful animals. They're strong, intelligent, affectionate, with a great sense of humor, and what incredible athletes. But training a mule is different than training a horse. When you're training a mule, you have to take into consideration the donkey half as well as the horse half.
Now that you have completed the preparation training for driving, it is time for you to actually hitch your equine to a vehicle. In this program, you will learn how to safely drive your mule in harness hitched to a vehicle in a variety of driving situations with both singles and teams.
Each week our program covers a different phase of management and training. No matter what kind of equine companion you're interested in, you'll find techniques that will help you reach your training goals and bond with your animal in the process. Just remember, the keys to success are patience, kindness, and understanding.
In the last program, we covered all the steps in preparing your mule to pull a cart. Now, let's hitch to the cart and head down the road.
When your mule is totally quiet between the shafts, you can think about hitching him to the training cart. Begin by showing him the cart as you would any new object. You should go through one more training step before you actually hitch the vehicle to your mule. Have your assistant walk the cart around while you and the mule follow closely behind. Next, have her pull the cart next to him and then finally behind the mule while you do a little ground driving. This might seem a little strange with a human between the shafts instead of an animal, but it serves an excellent purpose. Your mule will hear the cart behind him with all its accompanying rumbles, bumps, and rattles. If he doesn't bolt or become afraid, then he's finally ready to be hitched. A good time to check for wear and weak spots is while you're cleaning. Before actually hitching, it's best to make a final check of all your harness and equipment, and be sure to fit yourself with a helmet or hard hat.
When you're doing this with a horse, you don't want to tie your horse to the fence because horses have a tendency to pull and get freaky on things that they're afraid of, and they get all tangled up in the harness and the cart and everything else. So we'll just have an assistant stand there and hold the horse. And as you pull the cart up, you want to make sure that the shafts come up over the back, whoa, and then down, lower it down when you come up to the tugs, and then have your assistant just kind of guide the other side through the tug, and then pull it forward until it's even with the collar. Then take your trace and bring it back here, and you'll get a measurement as to about where it is, because you'll have your cart right in position there with the shaft up there at the collar. Then I'm going to come right around here, and the first thing I'm going to do is do the other trace so that the animal is hooked to the vehicle. Then I will go ahead and do the rest of the straps. Now, after I get the trace done here, I'm going to come up here and do the tug straps. First on this side. Then I'm going to go back to the breeching strap. I'm going to bring this up and around here, and we go right through the loop, so we keep the breeching forward here so it can't slip back. Usually end up taking 2 loops around here. Ends up looking like a figure 8 when it gets done here, and then comes back and fastens right here onto the breeching buckle. Then I'm going to take the kicking strap, go outside the trace, come around the shaft twice, just because it'll line up with the holes better, and then go ahead and adjust this. Now, I can't really make an adjustment at this point because I have all the loose straps on the other side. So now we're going to go to the other side, and we're going to make the adjustments and get the tightness just right on the other side. So if you'll just follow me over here. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and take the tug strap from this side and fasten it. So it's plenty tight and holds the shaft down, holds the surcingle nice and firm against the animal, so it's pretty stable. Then we're going to come up here again and get the breeching strap. Again, we need to go through the loop here so that this strap does not get a chance to go backwards. The other thing you want to do is make sure that you get your traces locked in right in front of the buckle here on this particular strap. You'll go around twice, but you don't take the trace with it the second time. So then you go around a second time, bring this in here. Oh, it looks like we might have to go around a third time so we can get the breeching tight enough. Okay, third time. Now we can see how tight our breeching is, and it's just tight enough so it's not real tight, but the animal can back into it and back easily and move your cart backwards. If he's going and he needs to stop, he will stop appropriately. And the other thing is that you can see here is that the trace is caught in the middle of this, so it doesn't go anywhere. It's kind of locked in here. Now we're going to take the kicking strap away from the trace and around the shaft, and again adjust this. And it shouldn't be too tight up here. You don't want it bearing down on them. You just want to stop it if they're kicking. So you've got a little bit of slack up in here. Okay. And our drive lines are attached, and we will take those back with us when we start driving. Now we have just one more step to complete before climbing into the cart.
Colorful Colorado, with its majestic Rocky Mountains and wide open spaces, also boasts the Loveland Longyears Museum and Sculpture Park at the Lucky 3 Ranch, home of some of the finest mules and donkeys in the world. This working ranch is just 40 miles north of Denver. World-renowned authority on mules and donkeys, Meredith Hodges, invites you and your family for an adventure in learning you won't want to miss. Come visit the Lucky 3 Ranch, meet Meredith, her champion mules and donkeys, and take in the beauty of her Longyears art for the experience of a lifetime.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hodges, and welcome to the Lucky 3 Ranch Training Tips. There's one more training step before you hitch the vehicle to your equine. Ask your assistant to walk the cart around while you and the animal follow closely behind. Have your assistant pull the cart beside, then behind the equine, while you lead him by his halter that is placed over the harness bridle. At this stage, there's a big difference between training a horse and training a mule. A mule that is accustomed to being tied to a workstation will usually accept being tied when introduced to the cart. Just make sure it is a stout post. However, you should never tie a horse to the fence in an arena to introduce him to the cart. You must always use a handler to control the horse's head as you bring the cart up behind him. Bring the vehicle to the equine, lifting the shafts over his back and bringing them down behind the tug loops. Your assistant should guide the shaft through the tug loop on one side as you do the other side. Push the cart forward until the points of the shafts are even with the collar or point of the shoulder. Attach the traces evenly on both sides before attaching the other straps. When the traces are secure, attach all of the other straps on one side. Begin with the tug strap and fasten it loosely so that you will be able to make adjustments on the other side. Bring the breeching strap forward under the trace and through the keeper on the shaft, wrapping it around the shaft as many times as needed to adjust it evenly and comfortably. Run the breeching strap over the top of the trace and back to the buckle. This keeps the trace from hanging too low. Go to the other side and fasten all the straps. Adjust the breeching so that your hand slips easily between the breeching and the equine. Snug, but not tight. Wrap the kicking strap around the shaft and buckle it. Run the drive lines through the rings on the top of the breeching if you have them on your harness. Then thread them through the surcingle terrets, through the collar terrets, and then fasten them to the bit. The lines may be either buckled or snapped to the snaffle bit or to the snaffle ring on a Liverpool bit. Check the girth on the surcingle. Make sure it is neither too tight nor too loose. It's enough for him to stand quietly while in harness for the first lesson. Then quickly and smoothly unhitch him from the vehicle. Reward him with a final pat on the neck, lots of praise, and of course, his crimped oats. When unhitching your equine, everything is done in reverse. He should be tied with his halter over the harness bridle, and the bridle will be the last to be removed.
Here's an engineer. How did you know that? So we go see a huge mule. Because this is too fine. Stroke with the hair, that's all you gotta do. Okay, come on, boys, let's go. Come on.
Every owner knows that a well taken care of equine is a happy equine. More and more, a technique being used to enhance our animals' overall conditioning is equine massage.
What you have to realize is you're training an animal in their muscle tissue, and their muscle tissue has to be able to perform the task that you're asking the animal to perform. If you're having a hard time doing the advanced things, you need to go back to the beginning. The massage helps break the pattern of the neurons that fire to that muscle, that tell it to contract, to contract, to contract.
With proper instruction, just about anyone can learn to give their equine the benefit of basic massage.
I've been working on equines for a long time, and a lot of people look at you and hope that you can just come out and make an animal better. And you can't do that. It takes two pieces, the massage as well as the exercise. And the exercise is actually more important than the massage. And that's something that people really have to understand. And Meredith's tapes do that. And a lot of people don't want to take that long a time frame. They just want to do their 60 days, get on the animal and ride them. But that's not really where you can go with their backs.
For more intensive therapeutic massage, be sure to consult a professional. Equine massage not only enhances your animal's health and overall condition, it's also a deeply personal and rewarding bonding experience for both of you.
Many of you who love your horses also love your dogs. This type of massage can be beneficial for all your pets. If you want to improve your animal's quality of life, I can help. I can either teach you how to do it, or I can massage your dogs for you. Contact me at dogmassage.com.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hodges, and welcome to the Lucky 3 Ranch Training Tips. Just as knowledge of good equitation and horsemanship helps you become a better rider, your knowledge of the correct handling of the drive lines and whip will help you become a better driver. When your ability and skill are at their peak, your equine will benefit. Just as there are different styles of equitation, there are several driving styles. Basically, while you are ground driving and doing the preliminary training, you will be holding a line in each hand, with the driving whip held in your right hand. The following is a good method to use when training because you can very easily shift both lines to one hand. When you're in the cart, here's one way to hold the lines. Hold your hands at waist level, about 10 inches in front of your body, and about 6 inches apart. The left line is held securely between the thumb and index finger. The right line is brought under the middle finger up through your hand and over your index finger. Your thumb will hold it securely. The whip rests lightly in your right hand with the excess line looped over your little finger. When you're in the cart, here's one way to hold the lines. Picture an imaginary box about 6 inches square. Try to keep your movements small and within the box. Make sure you're sitting erect with your elbows at a 90-degree angle. Keep your upper arm close to your body and sit in good posture. Your goal is to keep your hand movements gentle and delicate. Think of vibrating your little fingers in a squeeze-release fashion. Keep an even contact on both lines to encourage straightness in your equine and to signal him for halts and turns. Long, hard pulls may cause an overreaction from your equine. Practice shortening and lengthening the lines by working them through your fingers. When you first take up the lines, take a light and even contact with your equine's mouth. The lines and whip act like the reins and legs do when you ride. You will need to do a lot of give and take as your equine bends and turns. One line turns the equine and the other steadies the body position. The whip is used to encourage forward motion or impulsion and to enhance directional cues from the lines. As you and your equine become proficient, you might want to try a one-handed driving style called the Achenbach method. This is the style used in Europe in informal driving competitions. With practice, you will fine-tune the movements of your hands on the lines until they begin to feel natural and comfortable. Keep your hands steady and in light contact with your equine's mouth. Use your voice first. If he does not respond promptly, then lightly use your whip to urge him on. Also use your whip on his sides to help him turn from the pressure while staying erect and bending through his rib cage. When first schooling a team, use 2 sets of lines instead of the split lines for the best line of communication to the bits on the team. They can then be introduced to the split lines.
work inspired by mules and donkeys is quickly gaining popularity. Tennessee mule artist Bonnie Shields has the uncanny ability to capture the fun-loving nature of these free-spirited animals.
They were like a horse, but they weren't like a horse. They had a little different body. They used their body a different way. They certainly had a different mental attitude. So they started intriguing me as an artist, and I kept finding the differences between them and the horse, both physically and in their reaction to things. So that started my love affair with the mule. When you deal with the mule, you're not always in charge. So it takes a little bit of a different kind of personality to appreciate the mule and to work with her.
She was the only artist that could really capture the essence of mules and donkeys. Because mules and donkeys are really good teachers and teachers of life lessons. And Bonnie has just been an inspiration to me ever since.
Wow, how'd it do?
Whoa. I know that all through the years, Meredith gives tours to the ranch. But what a wonderful addition to this whole ranch would be a sculpture park just for the mules and the donkeys. So I just thought it was an awesome idea. And then she let me be part of it. It's a wonderful thing. And when you come to visit the Lucky Three, it's just an added bonus. Mule people, you reckon I can get Meredith to make a tape on how to teach your mule to shovel snow? I sure gonna try. Wish me luck.
Just a wonderful human being, and working with her is always humorous. She is just funny as the day is long, and so I thought that she would be absolutely perfect as the illustrator for the Jasper series that I wanted to do.
The Daydreamers was inspired by a thing that I saw years ago. I heard about this family up in Kentucky. They'd been working tobacco out in the field with their mules. And one of the boys, he was laying across this mule's back, laying in the shade. They'd been working, and he was resting on the back of his mule in the shade. That just kind of stuck with me, and I thought, gee, a kid like that, you know, he thinks he's stuck on the farm. He thinks he's stuck doing all this terrible old work, and he's laying up there and he's daydreaming about getting away from it all. So that's where Daydreamer came from. Sculpture's not the only thing I do. Matter of fact, I got into sculpture maybe a little later in my career. Mostly, I was known for my pencil drawings and my acrylic paintings for many, many years.
Long ears art. It may be whimsical, like a cartoon, or it may simply be breathtaking. Long ears are taking their place in the world of art, and it's the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Now you may walk around him as you shake and rattle the cart. If he becomes unsettled, stop for a moment, then praise him when he handles it better. The first time you hitch him up, don't plan on going anywhere. It's enough for him to stand quietly while in harness. With a final pat and praise, reward him quickly and smoothly, unhook and put him away. When he is content to stand quietly, the next step in his training, of course, is to begin to pull the cart. With your assistant on the lunge line attached to the halter, stand behind the cart and give the command to walk on. You're actually ground driving him once more, but he's pulling the cart. After a bit, your assistant can let out more of the lunge line, almost as if she is lunging the mule. After circling the arena several times, he may be ready for a trot and turns on the lunge line, but make sure he is coping with the cart. Don't make these first hitched lessons too long. Remember, it takes a totally different set of muscles to pull a cart, and he needs to become conditioned as well as calm. When he becomes quiet and more confident, you can add some changes of direction across the diagonal. This is an important test for him since the shafts will press against his sides as he turns. Then you can add more patterns, all with your assistant on the lunge line and you driving from behind. Always end your lessons with a back.
After a couple of weeks, and when your mule has proved himself trustworthy, you can climb into the cart.
Your assistant should still stay at his head a little longer for safety. When your mule can move calmly and easily through the patterns at a walk and trot while hitched to the cart, you can go solo. When you decide it's safe to go solo, have your assistant walk along with you for a ways, holding the lead line so that your mule will be in motion when he is released. As she detaches the lead line, she should continue to walk beside your mule. For the next session, repeat walking along after detaching the lead, but this time she'll gradually walk farther away and fade into the center as your mule keeps going. Once you are confident that your mule can be trusted solo, you can work all of your driving patterns: shallow serpentines, circles off the rail, and figure eights. Once he's good in the patterns, take him to the obstacle course and try him on the mailbox, parallel poles, tarp, and back through L. It's a good idea to have an assistant with you for all these exercises to be handy in case of emergency. But now she can ride in the cart so your mule gets used to pulling more weight. Anyway, all of these patterns and obstacles will make him more supple and responsive. They will also greatly enhance your driving skills, and you will truly become a team. To unhitch your mule from the vehicle, drive him back to the workstation in the arena. Your assistant will tie the mule back to the workstation and remain at his head. Smoothly get out of the vehicle and put up the lines.
Unhitching your mule is basically the same as hitching your mule, except that you want to make sure that the traces are the first thing that you put on when you hitch and the last thing that you take off when you unhitch. We'll start unhitching the mule by undoing the kicking strap, which was the last strap that we did before. Take this off here, let it hang, then we'll go to the breeching straps, to the tug strap, and we're going to go around to the other side before we unhook this trace, and we're going to undo the same straps on the other side. The kicking strap, the breeching strap, and the tug strap. Then we'll unhook the trace on this side. We'll unhook the trace on the other side and gently pull the cart back away from the mule, pushing the shafts up as you go away.
Bobby. Once your mule is calm and experienced at pulling a cart or carriage, there are many enjoyable activities that you can look forward to. There are picnic drives, showing and harness classes, organized trail drives, and fun events like scurries or cones. Let's walk on, Bee. There are excellent organizations you can join, such as the American Driving Society and a great many local groups. These organizations provide contacts, clinics, and encouragement. You'll see why driving is one of the fastest growing sports in the equine world.
Just as your knowledge of equitation and good horsemanship helps make you a better rider, your knowledge of the handling of the drive lines and the whip will help make you be a better driver.
When your ability and skill are at their peak, your mule will benefit. Just as there are different styles of equitation, there are several driving styles. Basically, while you're ground driving and doing the preliminary training, you will be holding a line in each hand with the driving whip held in your right hand.
One of the things you need to know when you're driving is how to hold your reins. You hold your left rein over your index finger in your left hand and lock it down with your thumb. You hold your right rein between the third and fourth finger and the excess rein over the little finger with the whip laid in the palm of your hand and at a slight angle to the left. If you want to put your reins in one hand, then all you have to do is transfer over the same position, and then you have them walk on in the same hand, which leaves your whip hand free to do whatever you need to do with the whip, or if you're at a mailbox or something, you can go ahead and lean out and get your mail. Just leaves one hand free.
As you and your mule become proficient, you might want to try a one-handed style called the Achenbach method of driving. This is used a lot in Europe and in formal driving competitions. With practice, you will fine-tune your hand driving line movements until it feels natural and comfortable. A word of caution: don't get in the habit of slapping the lines across your mule's rump to urge him on. Keep your hands steady and in light contact with his mouth. Use your voice first, then your whip to lightly touch him to urge him on, to help him turn, and to keep his shoulders up. One of the most enjoyable classes in a show is pleasure driving. There's something about hooking up to a cart and donning an old-fashioned hat that we ladies just love, and the gents seem to enjoy it also. In a pleasure driving class, 40% of your score comes from performance, manners, and way of going, 30% on the condition, fit, and appropriateness of the harness and vehicle, and 30% on turnout, which means your dress, grooming, and conditioning. You will show both directions at a walk, trot, and extended trot. Remember, an extended trot is not just trotting faster. It maintains the same rhythm but covers more ground. You will also be asked to halt and stand quietly and to rein back. You may also be asked to execute a figure eight. A reinsmanship class is basically a pleasure driving class where more of the score comes from your skill and ability rather than your mule. Your workbook has more details about the rules for these classes. Another excellent driving class is obstacle driving. This is great fun with you and your mule negotiating a course of 6 to 8 obstacles. There might be a serpentine, parallel poles, backing into a box, backing through poles, a mailbox, or simulated water. Practice doing a G-around or ha-around in a small circle with or without the chalk lines. Your North American Saddle Mule Association Rulebook and the American Horse Shows Association Rulebook should have details on what is required to show in pleasure driving, reinsmanship, and obstacle classes. And for a real kick, you can get into combined driving, scurries, and antique carriage competitions.
Driving is a lot of fun. I hope you'll be encouraged to drive your donkey or mule. And if you're a beginner, be sure to get assistance from a professional. Remember, safety first. In our next program, we'll be covering saddle training for the donkey. Please be sure to join us.
Having problems? Need an accessible trainer? Whether you're just a weekend trail rider or showing, the principles of training are the same. You want a safe and reliable equine companion. Produced by Meredith Hodges, Training Mules and Donkeys, a logical approach to long ears, will help you build a good working relationship with your animal. Meredith reveals the secrets of successful maintenance and resistance-free training that can be implemented by anyone, resulting in a satisfying partnership between you and your equine. Meredith answers your training questions promptly via mail or phone. Her books are great general resources and her videos are detailed, outlining the day-to-day exercises needed to produce a versatile and dependable equine companion. Meredith's techniques work with all equines. Do you have children, grandchildren? Check out Jasper, the story of a mule. For more information, check out our website at www.lucky3ranch.com or call 1-800-816-7566.
Mules are working their way into the hearts of people everywhere. If you'd like to know more about these wonderful long-eared animals, you can contact us at 1-800-816-7566 or get on our website at lucky3ranch.com.
Dusty old quilt hung crooked on a couch in an old stone house by a lazy river. Songbirds singing to me like a slow ride